You're listening to the Limitless Broadcasting Network.
What's your favorite scary movie?
What's the Boogeyman?
You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand? It's showtime.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Robby.
And I'm Sammi.
And welcome back. And today we are covering Renfield. Very cool movie. What did you think about it?
I thought it was a lot of fun. It's very campy.
Yes.
So you can't go into this with like thinking it's going to be serious or super take itself seriously.
It's a comedy horror.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like. I mean, you don't get too many comedy horrors out there.
Yeah.
And it had Nicolas Cage in it.
I know, and you love Nicolas Cage.
I liked Nicolas Cage. I liked him in Con Air.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I liked him in Snake Eyes. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, Nicolas Cage was going to be Superman, right? To the point where they fitted him for an outfit, and he still gets royalty checks from the movie that he was not able to produce because they pulled the plug on it.
Well, there's a fun Nicolas Cage fact for you.
So
who knew?
He's back outside on that one, right?
Yeah, who knew? And I'm very proud of you for getting the name right, because did you flinch when I went to pat you on the...
No.
I swear he flinched. Anyways, for getting the name right, because what did you refer to this as? Rembrandt? Was there another name you called it? I can't remember. Rembrandt sticks out in my mind though, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was Renfield. Yes. So it makes me laugh when I think about it. But do you want to start diving into the movie?
Go ahead.
All right, and I'm going to apologize because I've been sick this week, so
we're doing this because we got to get episodes out because we have Spookala next weekend.
Behind because Robby was in LA.
Yeah,
and
so
then
I was in LA filming.
I'm still sick, but I'm less sick, so we're getting it out today. So just bear with me while I struggle through this. So we got our summary. In this modern monster tale of Dracula's loyal servant, Nicholas Hoult stars as Renfield, the tortured aide to history's most narcissistic boss, Dracula, who is Nicolas Cage. Renfield is forced to procure his master's prey and do his every bidding, no matter how debased. But now, after centuries of servitude, Renfield is ready to see if there's life outside the shadow of the Prince of Darkness, if only he can figure out how to end his codependency.
So it's like a couples movie.
Sorry.
Kind of.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of way they set it up is, like they're breaking up with each other.
Yeah, no, that's true. So this movie is rated R, obviously for language, bloody violence, certainly. Some drug use and some gore. Its genre is horror, action, comedy, and fantasy. Director is Chris McKay, and it was produced by Robert Kirkman, David Alpert, Brian First, Sean First, and Chris McKay. It was written by Ryan Ridley, came out in theaters April 14, 2023, and made it onto streaming by May 2nd.
That 45-day window.
Very short nowadays. Its budget was an estimated $65 million, and its opening weekend it made around $8 million.
Okay.
So not so great.
It did not make its budget back?
It did not. Its gross was $17.1 million.
So think about those numbers right now, and think about what's going on, like with the writer's strike and the SAG strike, and they're spending $65 million on a movie, right? That blows your mind.
Yeah, it's insane.
The capital being used.
So runtime is 1 hour and 33 minutes. It's distributed by Universal Pictures. And for cast, we already said Nicolas Cage is the Dracula. Nicholas Hoult was Renfield. Awkwafina came in as Rebecca, who turns out to be Renfield's like bestie through a lot of this movie.
I think it was his love interest too.
Yeah, I think they were leaning that way as well. But
Yeah.
their relationship was super interesting. Show Ray, I'm so sorry, Agdashlu was Bella Francisca. So she was like the for the Lobo family. So she was like the bad
mob,
bitch, the one in charge.
mob boss.
Yes. Yeah. And Ben Schwartz was Teddy, who is an idiot.
In every show he does, he's an idiot. He literally plays the same character in every show.
I feel like, is that just Ben Schwartz? Like, is Ben Schwartz just being Ben Schwartz in all of these movies?
Realistically, like, I'm not hating on him. I like Ben Schwartz. He found a niche.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hate on him for doing that, but he literally plays the same role every time.
But he's so good at it. Let's see. Oh, and I don't think I went over the cameras. So cameras, we had a Panavision Millennium DXL2, Panavision C series lenses, Red V Raptor, Panavision C series lenses.
Okay.
I don't know what any of that is, but ratings. So critics on Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 58%, audience 79%. Which I could see.
I could see that.
And a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, which is, what I would expect from IMDb.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. It was filmed in New Orleans. So there you go. And then I've got some facts for you.
Okay.
So despite a history of turning down non-leading roles in studio films, Nicolas Cage signed on to play Dracula because it was his lifelong dream to portray the legendary figure. So Nicholas is really into Dracula. He seems like he would be.
Well, yeah, he's a co-star. He's not the lead, but he's a lead.
Yeah, well, Dracula's pretty important in this.
Yeah, I would say.
Without Dracula, you don't have Renfield.
Correct.
So, there you go. There are some horror references. So Rebecca's father's full name is revealed to be Morris Quincy. And you can see this when you see his portrait on the wall in the precinct that's dedicated to the officers who've passed. So this references the character of Quincy Morris from the original novel, an American who joins the rest of the characters in defeating Dracula after Dracula kills his friend Lucy.
Okay.
No idea. No clue. But that's a fun little thing. And Chris McKay has described the film as a quasi-sequel to Universal's 1931 English language film Dracula, depicting the same characters of Dracula and Renfield 90 years on, with the film's black and white opening scene depicting the beginning of Dracula from 1931, except obviously Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult are inserted in place of the original actors Bela Lugosi and Dwight Fry. So there you go. There's another tie-in. And the circumstances of Renfield meeting Dracula and falling under his control are presented to, again, as an extended reference to how the Dracula in 1931 depicted them. And they recreated the scenes, as we just said. They also play music from Swan Lake, which is a shout out to the fact that the music was used for opening credits in the 1931 movie.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they did a lot of tie-ins to the original, which I thought was cool. And there's also a reference to another vampire. So Dracula's top hat and toothy grin could be a reference to the famous Lon Chaney vampire makeup from London After Midnight. Some of the poses he makes while donning the look match still images of that vampire. So,
all right.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
No idea. And special effects. So the film's introduction to Dracula. So when he comes in, he's covered. It's very disgusting. And like all those like sores and like he looks like a hot mess. So they refer to it as Picasso on set, referencing early like those Renaissance wax sculptures.
Okay.
And I was like, I guess that's appropriate. So artists would come in, according to the makeup artist, Kristen Tinsley. Artists would come in and sculpt the anatomy of corpses and people with diseases into wax. And that's how we came up with this odd, weird, and bizarre first stage. So that's how they came up with this first look.
Okay.
And that first look took 3.5 hours to apply.
I'm sure it did. They don't mess around when it comes to movie making and prosthetics.
No, a full head of prosthetics, dentures, full body, torso, arms, hands, and nails.
Wow.
It's insane.
I wonder how long he was in the costume for.
I'm not sure. I don't think they said, but
took 3 hours to apply. How long was he actually in it for?
And then, of course, Dracula starts to heal. And so the next stage took about 2.5 hours to complete. And then, you know, they keep giving him human blood. He heals. By the time he reaches his normal makeup look, that took 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's pretty cool that they're doing it practically instead of like digitally.
Digital. I always like practical effects.
Me too. The way that people can actually figure out how to do it and go out and do it, that's so compelling to me.
I know. I just love it. You know, it just, there's something to say about doing it practically versus just relying on CGI.
Yeah.
And if you notice, Dracula has a blue hue about him. It's very iridescent. So if you see it in person, it almost looks like a metallic robot. They added a lot of teal iridescence to the makeup. So in person, he actually would shimmer and shine. And on camera, it looks like a healthy glow to the skin. So he doesn't look like a cadaver.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Way to separate him from the camera. So that's good. And make him pop out a little bit more.
And then I guess this last fact didn't save, but I read this. I read that Nicolas Cage had like his teeth filed down so that the teeth that he wore would fit better.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know how much he had his teeth filed down. Like, I don't know if it was like all the way, but I did read
Talk
that.
about being dedicated to your job, right?
Terrible. Yeah.
So
that's another fun fact for you. I don't know, but it didn't sound pleasant.
What did you think of the overall movie?
It's a lot of fun. I liked it. It was very, like we said, very campy. It has a lot of humor, a lot of blood.
Yeah, very gory.
It does both very well. The very like cheesy corniness of the movie to the extreme like over the top gore and action sequences. And I really liked Renfield. Like the bugs are very disgusting.
Yes.
He would eat them.
Yeah,
but the action scenes, it was just a lot of fun to watch him turn into like the, you know, super familiar and then kind of take down everybody. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I liked it overall. Going into it, I wasn't too sure. I thought it was just going to be a cheesy, you know, movie that we picked out to watch, kind of horror, kind of goofy, but it actually sparked my interest more than I thought it was going to. Yeah. I think they did a really great job. I really like the Chinese girl in it.
Awkwafina?
I do. I like her.
I do like Awkwafina. I think I've liked her in like everything I've seen her in.
I don't think she's been a bad actress in anything. So
no. And I like
good try for her.
And I like when she's not always just goofy, because she was actually more of the straight person in this movie, which they don't always do with her because she is so funny.
Right.
But she's very funny being the straight cop too, you know? When she's looking at him and she's like, what is it? Like, did you just did I see you take someone's like head off with a
knife or a fork?
Yeah, whatever it was at the beginning. That's so funny.
I think with doing that with her, it shows that she's a versatile actress and she can play serious roles and do comedy. Yeah. And I don't think by doing that, she doesn't get typecasted. Yeah. Like, you're not going to always see her in a comedy. You're going to see her in a serious movie. And I think as an actor, that's what you would want.
Yeah. I mean, she's had other roles where she was able to bring out some of that seriousness, but I think this was a good display of that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because she was more of the straight man to Renfield, who is so absurd, and she's having to just absorb this.
And it helps balance out his character as well.
Sorry.
So, but yeah, we're recording this when Sammy's on her deathbed.
I'm sorry. I'm trying not to cough, but talking so much just makes it worse.
So we're going to keep this a little short because she is not feeling well. Yeah,
it's okay. But overall, I would rewatch this movie because I thought it was a lot of fun.
We definitely recommend this movie, so go check it out. Thank you again for bearing with us. We're sorry this took so long to get out to you, but after the conventions, we'll be better. Yeah, we'll get more back on track with everything and all that. But yeah, if you're looking for like a
a fun, kind of more lighthearted horror movie with Nick Cage of all people.
And Sammi doesn't even like Nicolas Cage, but
He's
she
not
liked
my
this
favorite
one.
actor, but he did a good job being Dracula in this one. Again, he was like corny, cheesy, but it wasn't so much that you were like rolling your eyes at the way he did it. You know, he did a very good job of being that like just a right amount of absurd.
Okay.
I feel like with
No,
the
I agree.
Dracula,
I
but
agree.
the actor who played Renfield, excellent.
I think they balanced each other out.
Yeah, it was really like a breakup. You're right, because he showed up at his door.
Yes.
And not to spoil it too much, but it made me laugh because Dracula had just walked into his apartment because he had that big mat that was like, welcome. Come on in.
That is pretty funny.
And that's how they got away with the, because vampires can't enter your house without being welcomed in. Yeah, that was too funny. And then I did feel bad that he murdered all of his therapy friends.
But he brought him back at the end of it.
Yeah, but they seemed a little messed up with being killed and brought back. That didn't seem to really help them out with the therapy too much at the end. But you're right, they did come back. So that was a nice thing, I will say. But yeah, there could have been a little less bug eating for me. That's the only thing I would say.
Okay.
It's kind of gross.
All right, my friends, until next time, thank you for checking this episode out.
Yes, thank you. And so sorry about me coughing through it, but
Sammi will be better the next episode.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to cough through Blade when we talk about it.
Sounds good.
That should be our next episode, right?
Yep, Blade will be our next episode.
And I promise not to cough on you at Spookala either.
Awesome.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast is produced and hosted by Robby and Sammi Brooksby as part of the Limitless Broadcasting Podcast Network. Post-production and intro by Sammi Brooksby. Follow the show on Instagram at BoogeymanPod. You can also follow the Limitless Broadcasting Company at Limitless Broadcasting and your horror hosts at Robert 1950 Studios and at The Samalam. We also have a TikTok at 1950 Studios. Email your creepy comments and spooky suggestions to us at boogeymanpod@gmail.com. Don't forget, everyone is entitled to one good scare. Have a horrific week.